My name is Keith Cheatham. My age is I am 66 years old. I currently live in Hastings, East Sussex. Actually, I'm passionate about flat green bowls because I've been playing bowls for 30 years, indoor and out, and just this year at the National Championships in Nottingham, I became a national champion. Okay, my prostate health journey began in 2017. I was having a lot of discomfort in my bladder area and difficulty of a night with getting up and peeing. So I went to my doctor, and in 2018 I had an appointment with a consultant, and the consultant, when we went to the hospital, he immediately said, "You've got an enlarged prostate. I'm not very happy about the size of your prostate because it seems a bit sort of large on one side." So what he suggested straight away was that I have an operation. I was not happy about what he suggested because it was the first time I'd met him, and I said, well, there must be some alternative things that you could do for me. And what he decided on the fact that I needed to take tamsulosin, which, as we know, is an alpha blocker, and I had some sort of, it works, but I just didn't like the after effects it gave me. Like it gave me gout, it gave me retrospective ejaculation, and I just felt unwell taking it. But during that process, I had an MRI scan, and the MRI scan showed up a few problems with the prostate. So they decided to do a truss biopsy under local anaesthetic. And that was in sort of March 2018. And they took 12 cores, and 2 cores, unfortunately, were cancerous. Gleason 6, grade 1, which was a bit of a shock for me. But that still didn't really do anything about my enlarged prostate because of the cancer. But they also decided to do a template biopsy. Now, if you've ever had a template biopsy, I had 42 core samples taken from the perineum area of your body, and I was black and blue, and I was feeling very sorry for myself and feeling really ill with the effects of the biopsies, with the medication that I was being given. And we went away in the August, and I decided, I know what I need to do. I need to find an alternative. And it feels a bit like a moment in my life that I found something that might actually work. So I purchased the book all about the prostate, and it just changed my life. And I know that might sound a bit corny, but it really did change my life because it spoke about alternatives, lifestyle changes, and things like that. So I then purchased my first lot of Total Health for the prostate, the capsules, and within 2 to 3 months, the symptoms were relieved, quite substantially, which surprised me because I just thought I'd give it a go, and I was hoping it was going to work, but if it doesn't work, then you just think, well, there you go. So that helped greatly. It gave me a much better flow because I never had a fantastic flow, but the tablets really helped with that. And so I continued that, and I actually told my consultant, I'm not taking the tamsulosin anymore, I'm going to take these. And he just said, well, not taking the tamsulosin is not going to help, it's not going to have any deterrent on your cancer, so you might as well carry on. And so I have regular PSA blood checks and everything else. When I was in 2018, when I was 62, my PSA was 5.1. It's now 4.43. So 4 years on, an older man, well within the normal range, and that's to do with the tablets. That's not to do with anything else that I've ever been given. That's to do with the tablets. I do believe it. And I did suffer from prostatitis, I think that's the right way of saying it, and I was given antibiotics. Again, I was very unhappy about that because that didn't really stop the pain. And then I started to take, in 2020, Prostate Healer, and wow, that is a really good product because it does do exactly what it says on the bottle. It soothes your symptoms. I only get up, I was getting up quite regularly to go to the loo of a night, once, sometimes none at all now, and all the symptoms are relieved, and I've got a much better quality of life, I think. The age my prostate health began to become a problem was in 2017, so I was 62 then. The initial symptoms of problems with my prostate were weak flow, were drawing pain in my bladder area, and obviously going to the loo quite regularly. And obviously it was just the pain in the area just above your bladder, I think it is something that used to wake me up of a night. But now I take your products, it doesn't wake me up. I don't get woken up by that feeling at all. My PSA level and it was just about January 2018, was 5.1, and I was 62, and that caused a concern because that's above the range. But now, in March 2020, because I have regular 3-monthly blood checks because of the microscopic cancer I have, is that it was 4.43, my last one in March. So therefore it's gone down, but for a man of my age, that is a good level. No, urologist, a consultant at Benenden Hospital, because I did have an appointment at my local hospital, but it was a 13-week wait, so I decided to, because I'm a Benenden member, sure, I decided to go with them. But what I will do, this as an aside, the same consultant that I saw at the National Health was the guy at the Benenden Hospital. So, but I was a bit taken aback by his first sentence, that he felt, when he felt my prostate, he felt that it was slightly hard on one edge. So then what he said was that he said, well, we can do this and we can remove part of your prostate with an operation. And I basically said, well, is that really necessary? Because I don't really want to go through that type of operation, because I've heard of the side effects that you could get from that. And I was quite naive about all the side effects, at the beginning. But I just said I'd rather have some alternative treatment. No, the only natural treatment that I've taken is Total Health for the prostate and Prostate Healer. I started taking Total Health in the August of 2018. I did find taking the tablets, because they're quite large tablets, and you have to be very strict with yourself about taking 6 tablets a day, and I did that. And what I found was, if I became lazy, like we all become lazy, and I didn't take them for a while, then my symptoms would come back. So I do feel very confident about that particular product. I found Ben's Natural Health I was just searching the internet and the website, and because there's a number of websites that you can look at, But what was drawing me to that was basically the booklet, all about the prostate. And although it's quite a heavy read when you first start to look at it, it's best to read it in sections and sort of digest it slowly. It makes a lot of sense, and then you start thinking, well, there must be other ways of dealing with the problem that I've got. And I did, and I would say I feel that it's changed my health and my life in that way. I think the message that I would give to other men who are suffering from prostate disease is to, obviously, first of all, have a regular check from your doctor if you're worried, and have the blood test, because you can go to a well man clinic. My advice to other men who might be feel that they have a prostate disease is to get yourself checked out by a doctor initially, and then look. In my view, I would point them towards the All About the Prostate book, because then people can make up their own mind whether they want to use the information that's said in the book to help them for their own healthy lifestyle. And I would 100%, in my view, I would 100% recommend to them that they should try the Total Health for the Prostate or the Prostate Healer, because I feel that's really worked for me. One of the easiest things of this journey that I've gone through was just cutting back on caffeine. I do have one strong cup of coffee in the morning, and that's it. I've cut back on sugar, which I used to have lots of sugar in my tea and things. And also, I've developed my own recipe for nettle tea. Now, I know that that sounds a bit corny, but what it is that, as we know, nettle is a diuretic, and it helps your flow, and it does help your flow, but it does take a bit of getting used to drinking nettle tea. So I've just sort of added a few berries in there as well. But that part of it has been a good journey for me. I think actually putting faith in the products, because, and I will say this now, the products aren't cheap, and you do have to take a lot of them, and you have to be, yes, the products themselves aren't cheap, and it's making sure that you take them on a regular basis. As I have mentioned before, I didn't take them for a little while, and my symptoms seemed to come back, so then I continued to take them. But I do have 100% confidence in the benefits of Total Health and Prostate Healer. Before taking Total Health products, I had a weakish flow, I had pains in my bladder, and I just didn't feel great. But since taking the products, I feel my flow's much improved. I don't get up of a night. I only have maximum one trip to the toilet, which is great. And the symptoms in my bladder, I don't get woken up by drawing pains in my bladder, because that can be very uncomfortable, and it just totally disrupts your sleep. I didn't feel confident enough to talk about my own health, my own men's health, before I read the book. I do have a very supportive family, especially my wife, and she's always encouraged me to go and get checked out if I've got any symptoms. But I think men of my age, of 66, have always been very shy, shy about sort of talking about your own personal health. And I think that now I haven't sort of my friends, and we do speak quite freely, and I have spoken to them about the products, but that's, I think, what stops them buying it could well be the cost of the product, or them thinking, oh, it's not going to happen to me. Having prostate problems. Yeah, I think men men don't want to really think about the fact that they're going to get problems with their prostate, or they might not get prostate cancer, because they don't like the idea of the initial investigation that the doctor has to do. But I think what men should do is they need to get over that, and they need to think about their health, because as we know, enlarged prostate cancer must affect 80% of men easily. And there are men out there that are struggling with their flow and are struggling with everything else, but they're not seeking any help. They're just ignoring the symptoms and hoping they'll go away, but they won't go away.